down to you as black water rushes in, light flashes out, the darkened night devours all we are. I have no idea what's coming, but we can feel it sinking in. The madness that has led this life so far. The fog is breaking up, it's tearing us apart. Can you feel it fall away? The fog is breaking up, it's tearing us apart. Can you feel it fall away? If any of us mattered, there wouldn't be so many lives dictated by so few. If any God had ever loved us, He would stop this and protect us. He'd never leave all our lives down to you as black water rushes in, light flushes out, the frozen night devours all we are. I have no idea what's coming, but we all feel it sinking in. The madness that has led this life so far. I have no idea what's coming, but we all feel it sinking in. The madness that has led this life so far. Water rushes in, light flashes out, the frozen night devours all we are. I have no idea what's coming, but we all feel it sinking in. The madness that has led this life so
Good evening, space losers, and welcome to Sci-Fi Hi-Fi. We're changing it up a little bit today. Do you want to close the door? I feel like you want to close that door. So we don't have Eddie in as normal, but we have my partner in crime, Riamu Rin. Hello. Hi. We are in our house. We're in our house. If this works out, we may well change the space station whole thing. Who knows? We're just going to play with it. There's Peter has joined us. Hi, Peter. We are on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch today, so I'm pretty just going to keep that. Why not? Why not? Indeed. And we're just gonna talk crap, really.
Yeah, basically.
That's the plan.
Yep.
I will say that we are both drinking wine. Mine is the Sainsbury's Best alcohol-free wine. So this is the first time I've had it, so we're going to try this out. I'm sure it's complete gut rot. Do we get gut rot if there's no alcohol in it?
And I've got the real stuff. So
That's all right. Hey, Rachel! Rachel's joined us. Like, you never, ever join us on a Wednesday night. Hey, Rachel. If you have any comments or questions you want to get involved in the chat, just go ahead. Just go ahead. You're adults. You know how this works. Like and subscribe, folks. Like and subscribe. Do whatever you like. So we are talking the big question that's on everybody's mind, obviously, throughout all of the day, all the week.
What is sci-fi?
What is sci-fi?
The show is Sci-Fi Hi-Fi, and no point have you so far talked about sci-fi very much.
No, that's true. That's true. We do have a question from the floor, and probably quite a rightful question from a fistful of doom. Have you fired Etienne? Etienne, no. Etienne was doing other things today, and so we decided to go another route and see what the crack is. I did also have a guest for today, but because of the reasons, they have changed to a different day. So no guest, no co-host. So that's what got us to these some of these parts. Let's put it that way. Anyway, so Etienne is not fired.
Cool.
Sci-fi.
All right. Well, big energy there. Wow. Okay. Let's take a more thoughtful approach now. What is sci-fi?
What is sci-fi?
Maybe we should talk about some things that are good examples of sci-fi, some things that are bad examples of sci-fi, and try to understand what makes a good sci-fi, or what it really is. So maybe a good place to start would be an actual definition, and then we can kind of jump off from there without being too structured debate about it.
Yes. Do you have are you going to go for the Webster's? I feel like there's a Webster's definition.
There's no Webster's. I'm one level up. I'm on Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
All
right,
it's the People's Dictionary.
The people's world.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah.
So essentially, it defines it as a genre of speculative fiction, which typically deals with imaginative and futuristic concepts such as advanced science and technology, space exploration, time travel, parallel universes, and extraterrestrial life. Very broadly.
That's pretty broad.
And yeah, I can say, a lot of those things. Personally, I mean, because we're talking about art, there's no right or wrong here. And everyone is equally right and wrong.
Although some are more right than others.
Yeah.
Festival of Doom has launched straight in with Buck Rogers. Buck Rogers. Oh, well...
But just as the definition of sci-fi.
Yeah,
that's
of
sci-fi.
is Buck
Cool.
Rogers.
All right, stream over. We're all going home. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. What about Buck Rogers? Will we talk about Buck Rogers?
I'm unfamiliar.
Okay, so no, we're not going to talk about Buck Rogers. He has.
You can enlighten me.
He's a little robot guy. That's all. I don't watch any of the new series. I kind of watched it when I was a kid, and he had this little robot that went beady beady beady. That's all I know about Buck. The Cylotrons, like the Cybermen, but the American version.
Okay.
And they had like one thing, a bit like Knight Rider, and they went.
Oh, just like.
Yeah. What are they
Gotcha.
called? Twiggy? No. Oh, Twiggy was in it. Oh, was Twiggy in it? Oh yeah. So Festival of Doom is just going to throw out series, so we're just going to forget about him for a wee second.
Chime into his comments when they're relevant. Otherwise, you will be ignored.
He says Twiggy was the little robot. I don't think that's true.
That's
I don't think that's true.
irrelevant.
She was a supermodel. Why would Twiggy be the robot? Oh, Twiggy is the. Oh, well, it's the name of the robot. That's why.
Okay, cool. So where everyone's talking about the wrong thing immediately.
Anyway, so sorry, go.
Right. So it's essentially speculative fiction.
Speculative.
Yeah.
Fiction.
So fiction that hypothesizes on current technology about where it would lead to.
So what's the difference between that and fantasy, though?
Well, fantasy has nothing to do with technology. Fantasy doesn't involve human technology as it is now, but either sped into the future or sped on a different tangent, temporal-wise, essentially, right?
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Examples of fantasy are Lord of the Rings. There's no technology in Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Right?
Well, there's some minor mechanics in the things that throw those big stones. What are they called?
Trebuchets.
Trebuchets.
Yeah.
Trebuchets.
Yeah. The modern technology from whatever century that was in.
Yeah. Well, was that like Norman or something?
Oh, way before then. Byzantines were using that tech.
So, can we say that fantasy and science fiction meet, where STEAM takes over from just?
No, because I think it's not just technology based. It's about the human relationship to technology. For example, something merely set in space does not make it science fiction. That's just a space based whatever. The thematic, crux of science fiction is how human beings interact with their technology and where it could lead, or the pitfalls of it.
Yeah.
So
I'm just thinking, like, what?
I mean, yeah. The unpopular opinion that I'm about to put out there is that Star Wars is not science fiction.
What is it? Western? Are you going to say it's like a cowboy western?
It's
or
space
something?
western.
Space western.
Yeah. I mean, George Lucas is pretty good at combining, story types and ideas together, but under no circumstances is it science fiction. There's no relationship of the characters or the plot to the technology or the setting being in space that drives the plot forwards.
What about the robots? Their characters and their technology.
Yeah, but they could. I mean, the whole story of Star Wars, the original three, the only three Star Wars, could be easily transposed into any other genre. I mean, it could be a western, it could be a samurai film. I mean, Darth Vader's helmet is literally a samurai helmet, and they're swinging sabers around.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no point in the three Star Wars films that they relate to that technology in a meaningful way that drives the plot forwards. I mean, the closest you get is when in the very beginning when Leia gives R2-D2 the message, "Save us, Obi-Wan Kenobi." But I mean, that could be a message in a bottle. It's literally just the setup for Luke's call to adventure. I mean, it's not a plot device. Like, it's not narrative specific. And the themes of Star Wars is just one loser dude becoming not so much of a loser dude. I mean, there's nothing sci-fi about that. I mean, it's a story age as old as time, really.
Yeah, and I guess they don't. So a sci-fi often goes on a development journey with a character through the use of technology as well. And I guess the technology
quite often,
doesn't
yeah.
actually change as they go through. I mean, the
Yeah,
robots. I mean, C-3PO and R2-D2.
Well, C-3PO is a non-character. He's there for comedic effect. He doesn't do anything to the plot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, R2-D2 is more plot derived, but even so, he could be easily transposed to, any set or setting or a different character. I mean, the technology is largely irrelevant in Star Wars. It's not a sci-fi. It's not. Look, don't get me wrong, haters out there. It's not a bad movie. I really like the proper Star Wars. It's just not sci-fi.
It's just not sci-fi. What about?
I mean, if we compare that to another Harrison Ford film, Blade Runner, that is, in my opinion, as good as sci-fi gets, because the whole thing is about human relationships with technology.
Yeah, and it goes into the deeper possibility of what our future relationship with that technology is.
Yeah. I mean,
so there's a definite arc between where we are.
Yeah. It's a not too distant future. We can see our current technology, going down a timeline where these things might actually be a real issue. And I mean, we're currently kind of having this discussion with AIs and automated vehicles. Like, do we trust them on the roads more than a person? Like, where do we give our own, kind of humanity and trust in the technology, and where is that line? And what happens essentially? I mean, that's what good sci-fi is. What happens? It's a question. It's not an answer.
Yeah. What I'm going to do is just pause to go through the chat, but I'm also going to turn off your camera and get you to move your camera over here, because then you'll be
looking the wrong way.
You're looking the wrong way.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to turn that off for a second while we do that.
Wah!
So what's going on in the chat? What about alternative present, which may have different technology? Peter's asking. What about alternative present?
Once again, everybody seems to be confusing me with some kind of expert. I'm just a highly opinionated individual. I don't know what this is.
No, but that is, you can have a sci-fi.
Oh, you mean as
future?
Oh, like
this timeline.
Okay, right. That's not a title of a thing.
No.
Okay,
It's
just alternate presents.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, could kind of look at Donnie Darko as kind of that. He literally sees a timeline shift in his own reality and chooses to not do it, essentially, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's alternate realities, but, if it's discussing... So, I mean, for me, sci-fi, at least the good sci-fi that sticks with me and, has not necessarily shaped my worldview, but given me better understanding of myself and the world around me, is stuff that not only discusses, the human relationship to technology, but things that deal with, real human thought and emotion through the vehicle of sci-fi. I mean, an example of that would be Neon Genesis Evangelion. I mean, if you look at it really surface, the kids fighting in massive robots, right? But I mean, that's not what it's about at all. It's about isolation, loneliness, developing your own sense of identity, interpersonal relationships.
Yeah.
That's told through sci-fi as a very effective vehicle of the story.
Yeah. But that kid in that
Shinji.
Shinji is a wet blanket, man.
Well, no, that's the point,
I know,
though.
but that's always the point of like
Yeah.
the small male character in anime. He's like this awfully wet, terrible human little nobody, and then he has to grow into like the person who saves
Yeah, that's. I mean, it seems to be not necessarily like a motif throughout Asian, film and TV and anime, but it kind of is, because they don't really have the traditional hero archetypes, right? Like most of their good stories are told through not failures, but the meek individual overcoming stuff. You don't have the knight in shining armor. It starts off with the poor boy who doesn't know what he's doing with himself and doesn't know who his parents are, and similar with Spirited Away as well. I mean,
and
as a
Star
great
Wars.
Yeah, and Star Wars, right? So it's a good story, but it's not sci-fi.
So does that bring it more into the sci-fi?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, it's a storytelling trope, and lots of people have used it. Just because you're using tropes of sci-fi doesn't make it sci-fi. Yes.
I think Star Wars is Star Wars sci-fi. That's there you go. There's a big poll. We should probably run a poll on that. I don't know how we do that, but we'll work it out. In the chat, what else we've got? Okay, so Fist of Doom is asking about Alien, which we are going to go into a bit later.
That's an interesting one as well.
Yeah, so let's just run through the chat first before we really get into the Alien thing. Peter's asking, giant space laser? Is that...
Space laser or space lizard?
Well, I'm going to assume that he meant lizard and just spelt it wrong. No, he didn't. Laser is probably what he wrote. With a question mark, but I guess that would be sci-fi if you had a story with a giant space laser.
Giant space lizards,
like Star Wars has.
Yeah, but it not plot pivotal. It's just the
they
bad guy.
They destroy planets with it. Surely that's pivotal, isn't it?
No, not really.
I kind of, when I think about them destroying, what is it, Alderaan or whoever?
Yeah.
I always think
Leia's
of the Spaceballs reference. But we are going into Spaceballs anyway. What about the Schwartz? Asks Rick.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's magic. That's fantasy, right? If you're referring to the Force in Star Wars, yeah, that's not sci-fi.
Fantasy.
That's fantasy. Yeah, I mean, like I said, George Lucas is really good at just mashing together genres. He mashed together a bunch of genres: samurais, western, fantasy, and put them in space. It's not a sci-fi. It's a fantasy space samurai western in space. Right? It's not a sci-fi.
The chat is basically like, the Death Star is sci-fi. The Death Star is technology.
Look, so
it is pivotal
no.
to the
The Death Star is pivotal to the story, not as a piece of technology, but as what it represents. Right? It represents the big evil, the big bad thing that is not a single person that you can overcome. Right? It represents an evil ideology, the same way the Force represents a positive or good ideology. Luke destroys it, not by, using his own technology, his targeting computer. He destroys the big bad Death Star by using his own good ideology. It's a good against evil analogy. I mean...
But it's a big technology planet.
Yeah, and he's flying a spaceship. It's irrelevant.
Okay, so...
Just because it has technology doesn't mean it's about... Sci-fi is humans' interaction with technology and how it relates to them.
Okay, so what about Firefly being space western or sci-fi? Because it has a lot of points that...
Yeah. I mean, excellent space western. I'll give it that. Better than Star Wars.
Yeah, but the costumes, man, they kill it. I mean,
because it's western.
Acting, the costumes
the acting is bad.
It just kills it, and so that was from Rick.
I think Firefly is a good bridge between Star Trek and Star Wars.
Why?
Because it's shitty and good all at the same time. Whereas Star Trek is just shitty.
No, Star Trek is not shitty. I love Star Trek. I love Star Trek. I love Star
Yeah,
Trek.
especially at the point in every episode where they literally explain the plot to you like you're an idiot.
Oh my god, that's the whole point, right? That's why it's so nice.
It's
to
for
watch.
stupid people.
But that's fine. I like.
It's
I
so
like,
disingenuous to the intelligence of the audience.
It makes me happy that it's going on in background while I'm working, right? Because I know we're going to end on a good note, and I don't need to worry about it. I don't need to be
Because it's
stressed.
background. Right? It doesn't
Yeah,
engage
really.
you. It doesn't make you think. It's background.
Well, it doesn't. But then you are also of a generation that weren't around for the first lot, of, like when it was first.
True.
there.
I have the poor me of growing up with decent TV and film. No, that's not true. No, actually, I immediately rescind that. There is no good film past the date of my birth. Actually, no. There's a couple, but not many.
Okay, because like Star Trek was ahead of its time when it came out. Majority of it, like
Right,
the
and,
first,
and
season,
then they
first-
decided to never evolve or adapt.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
much
cool.
true. Yeah, that's kind of true. Oh yeah, so Abby's challenge. She's like, yeah, but you're calling us all stupid because we like Star Trek.
I like Star Trek. I just don't think it's
You
very
know,
good.
I don't believe.
I think it's-
How
I-
much do you like Star
I
Trek?
as a comedy, fantastic, brilliant. So dry, so on the nose.
Wow, what a backhanded compliment from my friends. Backhanded compliment. Anyway, let's move on. Rachel says, my definition of sci-fi is a narrative that utilizes any sort of scientific theory on any topic, as opposed specifically to tech. It can also draw. Hold on, she's not finished. She's still talking.
All right, Rachel, go on.
It can. It can also draw on any genre and texture to add texture to a story.
I like that. I think that's actually really good. So not just technology, but scientific concepts. Think of any good examples?
I can't think of any. So, out there, what examples do we have that do not use use technology? They use scientific
concepts.
Alchemist does that.
Yeah, sort of. But I mean, most alchemy. You mean? Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot on the anime.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Ah, yes,
anime.
Full Metal Alchemist. That's using alchemy, which is not really a scientific concept, but it was the precursor to chemistry.
Yeah.
As a way to
And physics. There's quite a lot of physics in that,
to explore good and evil and morality essentially.
So is Full Metal Alchemist fantasy or sci-fi?
Fantasy and sci-fi do meet. Not on the Death Star, but they do meet. I knew I would tick off so many people with that.
That's fine. So the thing about Full Metal Alchemist is the equivalency of exchange,
Which is a real thing.
which is a physics point, right?
Yeah, thermodynamics, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's great. I've heard,
Yeah.
I learned something. I feel like I actually
You
learned
actually
something.
learned something. Nice. What I'd like to bring into play is a couple of quotes. One from Isaac Asimov, which is not necessarily the grandfather of science fiction, but definitely an early prolific writer about it.
Yeah. I just for people who may not know who he is, just explain who he is as much as you know.
That's right. I got a computer in front of me.
We're going to
I don't need to get this right. Born in 1920, was an American writer and professor of biochemistry at Boston University. He was known for his works of science fiction and popular science. Asimov was a prolific writer and wrote or edited more than 500 books. He also wrote an estimated 90,000 letters and postcards.
Who received these?
90. Well, I mean, it's pre-internet.
So he was literally. That was his email list.
He was a shit poster, essentially. He was shit posting before there was the internet. 90,000 letters and postcards.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is the quote from Isaac Asimov, briefly describing what he believes science fiction is. He says, science fiction can be defined as that branch of literature which deals with the reaction of human beings to changes in science and technology. So it's a human reaction to science or technology, which I think is kind of Rachel's point.
Yeah, but she's saying you don't need technology. Oh,
Yeah,
science.
science
Science.
or
Yeah.
And
Back to the
next,
Future. That would be a science one.
there we go. Yeah, so that is not. I mean, it deals with the consequences of dealing with technology and scientific principles, and I think it does, time shifting and dealing with the space-time continuum really well. and it's funny, it's great, it's enjoyable, it's engaging. But the repercussions, I mean, I don't like happy ending films.
But
Everything gets resolved at the end in a true Hollywood fashion, and everyone goes home happy.
but if you don't,
It's
think-
unsatisfying to me. But
if Star Wars isn't a sci-fi, then surely Back to the Future can't be one either.
they literally use technology to explore what would happen if they used technology wrong.
Oh yeah, I guess.
It's about how technology could be used incorrectly. That's literally the whole plot of the film. They use technology badly.
And that is the element that Star Wars is missing.
Yeah, well,
They don't misuse tech.
they don't misuse technology. They use technology, but they don't have any reaction to the use of the technology. It's just there.
Yeah.
It's literally set in space. They're not engaging with space as a theme or a concept, or in any kind of way.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much hate for this.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's a good thing I'm, behind a computer screen. I can say what I want.
Yeah,
so
you can.
Come
That's
get
all-
me.
Come get him. Come get him.
I got another quote from a reputable science fiction author, one that you might enjoy, from
Yes.
Robert A. Heinlein.
Oh, my favorite. I don't read much, and at some point I may actually finish 2 books rather than just one. But I have read. My favorite book is by him. So,
And the title of that book?
Stranger in a Strange Land.
And quick synopsis.
Humans land on Mars and they crash on Mars. A human is born on Mars, gets brought back to Earth, and fucks shit up. In a good way. Well, he tries to save everybody. It's basically just Jesus'
Jesus,
story.
isn't
It's
it?
Jesus'
Yeah.
story. But
A lot of good sci-fi is the Jesus story. I mean, The Matrix is
Matrix,
essentially
yeah.
Jesus,
yeah.
dealing with a lot of other stuff as well.
Well,
but
pretty much all the animes are Jesus stories, aren't they? They're little tiny kids until they come of age, and then they go and
yeah, well, there's
everything.
I mean, I don't know who said it, but there's that thing where there is only 12 stories in the world, or a finite number of stories, and they've all been written. So everything is just a remix of those stories.
Yeah.
So it's really incredibly difficult to come up with something absolutely brand new.
yeah. Everything is a copy of a copy of a copy.
Absolutely.
Just kind of trying to see where we got to on
the chat.
on the chat. Not even. Okay. So we're basically agreed that Firefly is both space western and sci-fi. The ship
I'll
is
get
very
down
much
with
as
that.
part of the Firefly as everyone else. The ship is as much a part of the so that we could also see that in Red Dwarf. The ship is part of
Yeah, well, Red Dwarf is definitely sci-fi.
Oh, I don't think there's any. No one's.
Okay, yeah, no
there's not,
one's
but I'm just-
debating that.
Yeah. Abby's saying, "Have you seen the film?" I can only imagine she was discussing Firefly. Is there a film? No,
I'm not aware.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Oh, Rachel's saying she'd also include biological, like aliens and monsters. That would count as sci-fi. Do monsters though?
So
have
it
to be very
depends
careful,
on
right?
what the monsters represent. If they represent something that humans have created,
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein is absolutely sci-fi. It's probably the earliest kind of sci-fi. Mary Shelley, human being tries to play God, stitches together things, and then we just experience the pitfalls of existence, but through a new monstrous existence. He's lonely, he has no friends, he's rejected by society. It's fantastic.
Just only because we're on Frankenstein, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Good sci-fi?
Fantasy.
Fantasy?
Yeah.
Why is it a fantasy?
Because it's just stuff that happens. There's no real rhyme or reason or meaning to it.
But he does make a man. He does build a man.
No, that's intertextuality. That's referring to Frankenstein, right?
Okay.
That's done for laughs.
It's all done for the giggle.
Yeah.
It's all done for the giggle. Where else we got? I guess the question would be: Peter's asking, is sci-fi even a genre? Well, is sci-fi a genre?
Yes, you're stupid.
What is a genre? Let's just get that.
Okay, well,
first.
okay. Shall we look up a definition, or
Do
should we
that.
just come up with something?
Well, it's up to you. You're the man with the computers. You
Oh,
can look up. This is another reason why Riamu here is actually quite on it. He was like, I'm just going to look up everything as we go through it. I'm like, okay, cool.
Okay, well, I mean, the base definition is a style or category of art, music, or literature. That second definition is not relevant because it doesn't fit my point.
What is the second
No,
definition?
no, I'm kidding. It's denoting or relating to a style of painting depicting scenes from ordinary life. So, like I said, it's irrelevant. It doesn't fit anyone's point. But
No.
yeah, so as a genre is just a style.
Yeah.
And I think if we're going to define genres, it's a style of storytelling. And as science fiction, the style is telling human stories that relate to science / technology / monsters. Rachel, I know you're in there to expand it.
So we got to aliens. Would
Yeah,
be
so-
are aliens always sci-fi though?
Well, so I mean, we can pick apart two kinds of things here. We could look at E.T. and we could look at Aliens, one of your favorite films.
Yeah, but we could also look at historical aliens. Like,
You mean real aliens that have already landed?
No, stories about aliens that had built pyramids or whatever, because they're not within the technology, because humans don't have that technology.
But no, that's the point.
then-
They gifted us technology, or they built something for us. They interacted with us through technology.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. I know it's okay. Yeah.
I know. Well, let's talk about Aliens.
Let's
the
talk
film.
about aliens.
Yeah. Right.
Which
So-
oh yeah, so basically
Would you pick the one?
we thought we would do examples of good and bad sci-fi. And Riamu asked me, get a list of things that you think are good, 3 good and 3 bad. And I actually put aliens as, what is it, the canon? What is it?
Yeah, canon.
Is that the term?
The
Um,
king shit of sci-fi.
The what?
Nothing.
What did you say?
I did not swear on stream.
You could allowed to swear on stream, it's
The
fine.
king shit of sci-fi.
The king shit of sci-fi. I'm gonna clip that and have that shared across everything. It's fine. I forgot what I was saying. I was like,
Aliens.
aliens. Oh yeah, so I had that actually down as the best and worst of sci-fi, because Alien and Aliens, good prime examples, and then Alien 4 or 5, and like Alien versus Predator. I mean,
as what happens
the
with
shark is jumped by that.
yeah, series and trilogies or quadrilogies.
Yeah.
It goes downhill pretty quickly.
Because we were discussing this in our Discord, and if you'd like to get into the conversation on Discord and share your memes and all that rest, just whack it in the thing. Just come and join us whenever you want on. I'm just gonna put that in the thing. There we go. Come and join us on the Discord. So we were talking about the Discord, and we were talking about. Oh, first color.
Okay, well,
It's gone.
is Aliens sci-fi?
Is Alien sci-fi?
Right, so
So it's
we're-
got
we're- so we're-
monsters.
it's got monsters. We're in space.
The
The
monsters-
monsters are plot specific. I mean, without them, it wouldn't be a film.
Yeah, and specifically in Aliens, there's a like a tie between the way the humans are acting and the way the aliens are acting.
Yeah,
And
it
then
draws
which one is
some
actually good.
parallels between them, and just kind of tries to discuss which is the actual good and which is
Yeah,
the bad. You know,
Because it's
the-
a grey line.
yeah, the invaders or the defenders. You know.
And really, in Alien, that could be said. The same thing could be said in Alien, actually.
Yeah. What I like to think about if I'm deciding whether something is sci-fi is, could that same story be transposed into another genre? And like I've discussed with Star Wars, yes, it's easily transposed into many genres. You could take out the space and it would still be a wicked samurai western, right? Aliens, I think, could be a western or a colonial kind of movie, because it's about explorers going into a new place, trying
Yeah.
to get resources and being met by force with the local population. You know, that's the pioneers going into, you know, the new Western America and getting messed up by the Indians,
Yeah,
right?
but in both of those, they're not local. They know that because they obviously go to these planets. Oh well, in the first one,
The aliens are local, aren't they?
no, they crash land. That's how they get. That's why they're there. So on LV 426, they are a crash landed ship.
Landed in the aliens' place.
No. The aliens land crash inside
Okay.
a ship on a rock,
Right.
and
And
that's
then how are the humans involved?
So in the first one, the ship that crashes that has the aliens on it
Yeah.
sends out a beacon,
Yeah.
and they go and look at the beacon.
Yeah, that's just exposition, though. I mean,
Yeah, but they're not native, so they're not. It's not
yeah,
like
but they wouldn't have to be. You know.
I'm just drawing a line between
know,
they didn't live on the planet. They're not.
Yeah. I mean, if we try to take all technology out of the story, could you still tell the story? And so, say bunch of humans see a distant beacon, they go to investigate, they get messed up.
Yeah.
That's Alien, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Technology is not relevant in the story. Technology is present.
That's true. So therefore, is it sci-fi?
It's a good story.
But it's sci-fi because it's got an alien and a
No,
monster.
no. Just having the things doesn't make it sci-fi. It's the philosophical relationship between the humans and technology that makes it sci-fi. Just having the stuff doesn't make it sci-fi. You know, dropping a robot into Lord of the Rings doesn't suddenly make it sci-fi. Or does it?
But we're trying to draw what elements. We've agreed that these sort of elements work for sci-fi.
Well, yeah.
But you don't want Star Wars to be sci-fi.
No. So it's not about, you know, being, true to the genre, because then you just write crappy films over and over again. Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's about.
Someone has brought up a really good point about aliens. Bishop. But who's the first one? Who's the
Bishop is the replicant, or the cyborg guy.
It's not Bishop in the first one, is it?
I don't know.
So there is there's a replicant in Alien who opens the blast doors, who opens the door to let them in when they're told not to.
Well, so that's probably a good example of human created technology doing a bad thing for humanity. So in that respect, that's some sci-fi stuff, but they don't go on to explore that, do they? That's what, one scene? So, I mean, because there are elements of sci-fi in it, doesn't make it a sci-fi.
I can't believe you're arguing that Alien is not a sci-fi. That's basically where this is going.
Oh,
it's not going to end well in this household, basically.
I'd be more than happy to argue anything against anyone. So.
Let's just go into the chat for a wee second. Where do we get to? Who is this guy and why is he making so much sense?
I'm your inner monologue.
Yeah.
These are things you always wanted to say but couldn't.
Yeah, this is our house. This is our bubble. This is Riamu Rin, husband number 1.
Out of 1.
Out of 1. So far. Abby says, we know where you live. She knows where we live, so be careful what you say.
Heat's on.
Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, Rachel's saying she named one of her boa constrictors after Firefly's movie Serenity. Oh, so there is a movie. There's a Firefly movie.
Was it? Why am I asking you? You don't know. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Rachel, thank you.
Peter's saying I absolutely want to have this debate around a campfire. Oh, around a fire in camping chairs with whiskey. Peter, you're welcome around ours. Basically, as soon as stuff's open again,
all of that could be arranged.
Yeah, just come on around ours. We'll put a fire pit in the back garden. We'll live stream from there. It'll be like the Ewoks.
The first sentence, by the way, is Serenity is a 2005 American space western film. Sorry,
so
love.
not a sci-fi.
You lose.
Space western.
It's not about winning or losing. We're talking about art. Everything is on the table. Everything is acceptable, and it's all absolutely meaningless and pointless. So.
Yeah. Abby's saying this stream is making her stressed. Well,
we're doing something right.
Maybe. She's like, I Could Be You has joined us. Hello. Sorry, I missed the beginning. Is Planet of the Apes or Mad Max sci-fi?
Mad Max. So that's a good one. I'd say it's about how. Yeah, I think post-apocalyptical films I would consider sci-fi because it's about how humans deal after technology has essentially ruined them. Because same with Planet of the Apes. It's the technology that has led them to the post-apocalyptic world that we find the film in. So the precursor, the whole setup to the film is some kind of human-induced apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Actually, I haven't considered that one, but yeah, I think and films like The Road as well.
That one with Will Smith where he's alone.
Yeah, that's a good one as well. Because it's actually what I like about sci-fi is that they're really thoroughly and deeply human stories and deal with real human emotions that we can all relate to. You know, things like loneliness, isolation, and a good way to tell that story is through the misuse, or the post misuse of technology to be in a post-apocalyptic world.
Abby is having a conniption fit in the chat. She's basically saying, no, it's not always technology that causes apocalypse. Oh my god. That's what she's literally said.
Well, what? Okay, in film, what are some of the causes of apocalypse? We typically get environmental. We get aliens, which would, I guess, come under technology.
Yeah. What about that old one, like that one where the Earth gets taken up by the sun? Like it's, like at some point, the Earth will be enveloped by the sun.
Yes, that's a given.
So
we all have that to look
forward to. There's a sci-fi about that, so that's not. There's no way the humans can be responsible for that.
No, but what it would deal with, because it is set in the future based on current trajectories, and it deals with how human beings would behave and react, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes a gripping sci-fi story in particular is the human reaction to events, technologies.
Yeah.
And because as much as we all, think that we've evolved, we haven't. We're all, very small-minded, petty, jealous, self-serving, self-interested monkey people.
You're never going to have anyone on the Death and Glory camp that's going to disagree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a given right there.
I saw a thing the other day that said human existence is a 25,000 year race from the tree to the stars. And essentially in 25,000 years, we've got down off the trees, built spaceships, and we're traveling, which is pretty rad.
That's pretty cool.
in evolutionary timelines, that is bloody quick.
Yeah. We've got a whole load of comments about other things that destroy Earth.
Good.
Destroy
Okay.
humans.
Okay. Yeah. So if we're referring to apocalypse causes,
Yeah. So
what do we got?
So we've got environment. Abby says environmental isn't tech. So
Okay.
fine.
Disaster films then by genre.
I don't know how to pronounce your name because you're new to us, but I'm going to say Noi Tome. Ooh, I want to say that. I'll say it as if it's a Japanese name. I don't know what it is. Please correct me in whatever you want. Viruses. Someone else has said zombies, so that's viruses, zombies.
Yeah, zombies are not sci-fi. I don't think at all. I think
What
they
about
have their own genre. Virus films could possibly be. I mean, most viruses, although they happen naturally, because of overpopulation, poor hygiene, a bunch of environmental factors, which are generally all caused by humans. Eating pangolins in Wuhan, for example. I mean, it's not technology, but it is human caused.
Yes. Dragons.
What? Dragons.
I just loved your face because you're like, yes, I said dragons.
Dragons. As destroying the world.
Yeah, dragons.
Right.
It's been, Abby agrees. So there's been 3 votes for dragons. Quite right.
Well, it's a good thing this isn't a democracy. If you want to discuss this, get yourself a webcam, join in. But
Rain of Fire is dragons. I don't know Rain of Fire. Do you know Rain?
Not familiar.
No, we're just gonna move on from that. Zombies caused by virus. Yeah, 28 days later. Virus zombies. Yep. Yeah. So that's. But mostly dragons is the thing.
Dragons is the thing.
On this sci-fi show.
The sci-fi show has brought a lot of dragon lovers onto it.
There is a film with dragons that cause apocalypse. Is there? Or is that a question? There is or there is not? I don't know.
Possibly. It's irrelevant to the conversation. But thanks for keeping it on topic, guys.
So my mom told me a story of something she was watching the other day, right? And apparently there's a show called Lego Masters, and why we haven't been watching that the whole time, I
Sounds
have
rad.
no idea. Where people compete about building things out of Lego, and it's an American show. And
Of course it is.
of course it is. And one of the finals, one of the teams were told to build a Western cowboy themed thing, and then like they do in all of these kind of I don't know what they call them, like in real life competition jobs. I don't know. There's a word for it. I'm sure you'll tell us in the chat. The judges come in halfway through, throw them a curveball, and that curveball is fantasy.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, so they have to change their thing halfway through doing it.
So
Okay,
if they had listened to you, they could just have put anything from Star Wars in there.
yeah, any Star Wars.
They didn't. They put in space police that came down in a spaceship, and they were knocked out of the competition because that was science fiction and not fantasy.
Yeah, that's not fantasy at all. You put a wizard though. I mean, fantasy all the way. Put a dragon. Fantasy.
Yeah, if they'd won if they'd put a dragon in.
Yeah,
for sure. That's what my mom said, actually. Just add a dragon.
add a dragon. You can never go wrong.
Always pay for it. Rachel says my tutor from my masters would be going mental right now. Okay, yeah. Dragons with the chips in brains. There you go. What about that's a very good point.
Well,
no,
if the film is just about dragons with brain chips, that's not sci-fi unless the dragons. I mean, if I was to write this, you could have a bunch of dragons. Each would represent a facet of humanity, and the way the dragons interact with each other, whether or not the brain chip is turned on or off, would be able to yield interesting results. That could be a sci-fi. I mean, it'd be difficult and clumsy to write, and probably be pretty boring. But yeah,
challenge
I mean,
accepted.
it could be doing. Yeah, one of you out there, write this boring novel for me.
Yeah. So yeah, Reign of Fire is a film with this in it. Apparently, well, maybe not the chips. I don't know if the brain chips are in Reign of Fire, but it's about dragons destroying the world. So yeah.
Well, we were on aliens.
We were on aliens. Let's go back to aliens.
So because my litmus test for if it's sci-fi is, can you transpose the story easily into another genre? Aliens, I think you could transpose it into another genre pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm starting to, now that you've made the borderline, you've put the line in the sand for Star Wars. Yeah. I'm now thinking that Aliens doesn't really cover any of it.
It's a monster movie in space.
Yeah, because they don't go into technology.
It's just set there. Just because it's set in space, just because it has spaceships, does not make a sci-fi. It makes poor writing, if anything. But
don't go there, son.
I mean, if you want to write something that's super gripping and, you know, that will stand the test of time, I know you think Aliens will stand the test of time. It won't.
It already has. It is very good. It's very good. I watched Alien for the first time, like a couple of weeks ago. I'd never seen Alien before, and it was amazing. Yeah,
but it hasn't entered into our collective zeitgeist, or, you know, the humanity's, how, you know, it hasn't affected humanity overall. Whereas there's a few, not a lot, a few things that really have.
Like?
Well, the Matrix, for example.
Hi.
Because we have this very common concept of taking the red pill now.
People on the internet have that.
Yeah, well, where do you think it starts?
In the Matrix. Yeah, but that's. I think there has to be a line drawn between what is coffee, what is. Do we want something that's household name, or are you just talking about?
No, but you know, the Matrix is only
memers on the
20 years old, but memes start things, and, you know, get into our general dialect that we talk about all the time. You
like
know?
1984 is
fantastic.
Is that a sci-fi?
Absolutely, because it's about their decisions and technology that take over their lives, and it's a warning story about humans and technology. Not you know, the most obvious sense. It's more about authoritarianism and governments, but the government's tool of suppression is through technology. Every room they go into has this giant screen that's always listening. Hello, Alexa. You know, all our technology is constantly listening to us. Yeah.
And we let it in rather than
that's
being
because we're
government mandated.
Yeah, because we're Brave New World / 1984 timeline. We all need to find some kind of vortex to go through to get out of this. Also, Brave New World is science fiction, if anyone was doubting that.
I don't think anyone was. Just yet.
just yet.
Just yet.
I'm sure someone will.
Maybe. Let's go into the chat. Conan the Barbarian centers in the power of steel, which is a better technology. Centers in the power of steel, which is a better technology. Conan the Barbarian is sci-fi.
No. Because it doesn't discuss deeply enough or in any kind of, meaningful way or depth about how that use of technology has altered either himself or the people he's fought against. It's simply a plot device. So, and once again, if it could be easily transposed into another genre, Western is really good to do this. Maybe sci-fi or Westerns are sci-fi. I don't know. Conan the Barbarian, if it's one dude with excellent technology defeating everybody, it's Americans in the New West, right? Or, any kind of invader or whatever.
Yeah, but I think we also kind of drew a line that really anything that wasn't, there has to be some kind of technological level before it becomes, it's fantasy takes up the early years.
Well, this is why I think. Well, yeah, because sci-fi is generally based upon technology we don't have, and how would humans interact with technologies that we don't currently have. So, Blade Runner I'd always love to go back to because it's fantastic. Philip K. Dick is a fantastic novelist, and there is no way you could transpose that story into any other set or setting, because it is very specifically about replicants, but it discusses a very real human kind of concept of how do we know we are human? How do we know we are real? Which I think The Matrix is also quite good at touching on that. Blade Runner better at it though.
Oh, is that film AI that had the kid in it? The Sixth Sense kid. Do you know that? A couple have a kid, and then the kid drowns or goes into a coma or something.
And then they remake it?
And and then they buy an artificial child.
Oh, an imprint.
Yeah, an imprint
consciousness
on that. And
then
no.
Why am I talking over you?
Why are you talking over me? This is what it's always like in our house. Always. So the kid dies, or is in a coma, or gets drowned, or something, and then they buy in this artificial robot to help the mother get over the thing. And the artificial robot, the AI, imprints, and she's told like you cannot go back. This is like a real child. You can't do it.
No returns.
And whatever happens, the kid comes back to life, or she has a kid,
and then she's stuck with two and can't choose which one.
Well, no, so they've got two, but then the boy
classic shoot him.
No, they don't look alike.
I haven't seen
I
this.
know, but if you just let me finish.
I'm having fun over here. Get to the point.
Yeah, so anyway, they get another kid, and then the human kid basically makes out as if the robot kid is trying to kill him, so the parents have to get rid of the kid.
Okay.
Right, and then the kid gets thrown into like a robot wars kind of thing, where
awesome, I'd watch that.
Where they're just throwing old robots into a thing and they get beaten up by human, whatever it is, they get beaten up, and the wee boy gets thrown in with all the broken robots, and then he just goes, "But I'm a real boy," and then everyone's like, "What is that? A kid? What is it?" Because the technology is really new and they're throwing old robots, so to have a brand new robot turn up in there is really weird. Yeah,
without ever seeing it and that terrible breakdown of it, that's sci-fi.
Yeah, but that goes in with what you were saying.
Yeah, about the nature of humanity and what is real.
Yeah,
and using
Jude Law's in that film, and he's a sex robot. So that's
what's that other Jude Law film where he is like an undesirable, but he wants to go to space, so he has to fake his DNA?
Galactica. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's good. That's sci-fi.
Okay,
100%.
Okay, that's our one agreement of the day. Will it blend? Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go back. So Conan. Oh yeah, we basically started an argument in the Rock household because Rick's like, "I love Conan." And Abby's like, "Conan sucks. Sorry, whatever."
Yeah, there's a lot of terrible sci-fi out there.
Ghost in the Shell.
Who said that?
Rick.
Rick? Thank you, Rick. You're a legend. 100% sci-fi. It is, if any fans out there would know, it is the basis for The Matrix. It's what the Wachowskis got their concept from. about people plugging in and where the border between the real and the not real, like how consciousness can seep through reality and irreality, essentially, and essentially what is real, what is sci-fi. These questions are too big.
Too big.
But yeah, Ghost in the Shell, absolutely fantastic. My favorite anime film of all time. Also, Standalone Complex isn't so bad. It does have some opportunities to explore the concept a little bit deeper in different kinds of ways, with a couple of interesting characters. We get to know more about the background of that spider robot that they take around with them, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, if we're on the topic of animes, Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah. You're big. I'm just not done. I don't get into it.
So there's.
But I want to say that Black Lagoon is in here with me. That it took me a long time to get into them, but I actually really like Black Lagoon now. So.
Not sci-fi, just good anime.
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop, I think, is not anime. Once again, space western. Essentially, I mean, it's Cowboy Bebop. There are a few episodes that are very heavily sci-fi oriented, I guess, where there are things dealing with wormholes and stuff, and if I go through this wormhole, I'm at the same person afterwards type thing, and that's a good interaction between the human and the technology that is worthwhile exploring. Similar to no, it's not similar to Interstellar. Never mind. I don't want to talk about Interstellar too much.
I don't want to talk about Interstellar. It's too confusing for my liking.
We should definitely not talk about Inception then.
That's not as confusing.
No? Okay, good. I mean, a lot of people had a hard time with Inception.
No, like Inception's not my problem with. Oh, no, we're gonna go into Interstellar, really, aren't we?
No, not at all. We don't have
It's
to.
just the settings. I'm not sure what kind of film it is. Is my problem. I'm not like it just goes into too many different settings.
Well, because it's a journey.
Well, yeah.
Through space and time.
Exactly. That's kind of my problem. I think I'm good with space and I'm good with time, but I'm not good with space and time.
Yeah, okay.
Probably. The film is Gattaca, not
Galactica. My apologies. Thanks you for the correction.
That's mine. That was from Abby. That's fine. Abby's now just saying things in the chat to piss off Rick. So
Nice.
Noise indeed. Passengers. And Noe Tome asks, Passengers, sci-fi or romance? I don't know what Passengers is.
That rings a bell. I mean,
Abby says romance, but you can have science. You can have romantic science fiction, can't you?
Are you referring to the 2016 film, the 2008 film? We're gonna need some thing. Are we looking at Anne Hathaway or Jennifer Lawrence?
Give us some context on that, and we'll be back. While we're waiting on that, Akira.
Yeah, sci-fi. Because it is dependent on the technology. Everything it does is because the story is not about the technology. The story is about him. That's a good one. We're gonna have to get back to you on that. I think a rewatching is in order before I make a ruling, because I'm the judge of that.
Apparently, I would like to watch Akira actually, because when Akira came out, I was quite young, and I remember
I haven't seen it in 10 years or so.
Yeah, so I remember watching it, but just it being completely over my top of my head because I was really quite young. And so let's watch Akira on our date night this week.
Yeah. If we're
still dating by then.
I was going to say, if we're talking about judges of things.
Oh yeah.
The ultimate judge.
What? Oh, Dredd.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. We do have an before we go on to Judge Dredd. We have an answer for the passengers question, although it didn't come from the person who asked it, and
J-Lo.
it was Jennifer.
Okay, it's 2016 film. I have not seen that. Let me break it down for everyone real quick. A malfunction in a sleeping pod on a spacecraft traveling to a distant colony planet wakes one passenger 90 years early. Wait, that's already been done.
Well, you've already said there's two of them.
No, this has been done a long time ago. What's this based
on? Abby said she's screaming at the screen when she was trying to get us to go with Jennifer.
I mean, if this is based on Lost in Space. Yeah. So so I mean, it's the same kind of thematic universe as Red Dwarf. It's about lonely human in space and doing like, okay, I'm the only person. What is my life actually worth if I cannot compare my worth to society around me? It's about human trying to understand their value as an individual rather than their value as a point in a collective, which is also what Evangelion is really good at, because I mean, half of humanity is dead. He's like, I'm just a little boy. What am I doing? I'm fighting a big robot.
Right, so Passengers about that, and we're throwing in Red Dwarf, and there was one other, but
because the technology.
You can put him. So I know what it was. Lost in Space. They're the three I was going to put in together, right? Lost in Space is basically a desert island story. So
True.
therefore, it's not.
Okay, yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah.
It has a robot, right enough.
Yeah.
It has a baddie who is a human.
So I mean, does sci-fi even exist at this point? Is it just shit?
It's just life.
It's just it's just human stuff that's set in space.
Yeah.
Is that what sci-fi is? In which case, I'm no longer a fan.
Well, I guess this comes down to the good and bad in sci-fi. But you said Red Dwarf was sci-fi.
Yes, because it.
But it has the same. That would also be a desert island.
Yeah, it could
story.
be a desert island story quite easily.
The only thing that saves probably Red Dwarf away from simple is that they do come into contact with new technology, and they do,
and it changes their interrelationships in some particular way.
Yeah, so
it is about technology changing the way humans.
Yeah, so the one that comes to mind is when they get the virtual reality game where they go inside a game and it changes the characters that each one of them perceives themselves as. And the Suicide Squid also does that, and that's where we get Dwayne Dibley from.
Good.
Yeah. So Red Dwarf, yes. Lost in Space, possibly not.
Yeah, possibly not.
And
Passengers so far, I haven't seen the film. Sorry, all those involved, but as so far reading, desert island story.
Yeah. Everybody is dead, Dave. That's what Abby says. Peter saying Cowboys and Aliens, definitely sci-fi. I haven't seen the film. Have you seen the film?
That's an animated film, isn't it?
I don't know.
So it's a kids' film.
Oh yeah, Ricky is rightfully saying Rimmer's a hologram, so that's tech changes the person.
No, it's not tech. It could be an imaginary friend. If we're going to transpose it to a desert island thing, H could simply be his imaginary friend that he's come up through psychosis of being alone for too long, which is kind of what happens.
But he becomes hard light at some point and therefore becomes a full character, a full touching person. Yeah,
but conceptually, he's not a person.
No, that's true. He could be
he exists only in.
Could be Harvey, the White Rabbit, with Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
Best stuff.
Yeah.
Could be all these things.
Oh, cowboy! Oh my god, this has got real actors in it, and it looks absolutely terrible. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's got Daniel Craig in it.
Oh my
apparently.
god, and Harrison Ford. Oh man, they must have been short on cash when they fucking agreed to do that. $163 million budget. Oh wait. Oh yeah, that's the budget. Oh my god.
Well, it takes a lot of money to make a film, though.
It takes a lot of money to make a crap film. Agreed.
Everyone said it's so bad. It's a bad film. Everyone in the chat is just like, it's a bad film.
You know, nothing like unifying against a common enemy to bring people together. I did want to talk about Judge Dredd.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Judge Dredd.
And I think as media, comic books lend themselves better to genre-specific things more than films do, because as we've just seen from Cowboys and Aliens, you have to spend a lot of money to do not a lot. Whereas a comic book is cheap to make, doesn't make a lot of money, but it's made to a very dedicated audience. So a comic book that succeeds is generally a really good comic book, as opposed to a film that succeeds is generally a very average film, because filmmakers, I mean, at least Hollywood,
lowest common denominator.
Exactly, they want the largest target audience, so they dumb everything down and they put a reference in for everybody.
So for a point of reference, Rick's asking, Stallone or Urban? It's Urban we're talking about.
Yeah, 100%.
Andy has joined us. Andy in the house. Yeah, so I actually watched Dread today, and I was very, I watched it today because I now have a job where I render film, and I'm quite bored most of the time while it's happening. So I decided to watch it, and I was surprised at how awesome it was. To be fair,
it's wicked.
The whole thing for me watching, I started watching Dread this morning because we were talking about Starship Troopers in the Discord. If you want to
That was in
join
my head
our
earlier.
Discord, go ahead and join our Discord. The link will no doubt appear in the chat any second, either by me or someone else, because that's just the way it works. So what I really liked about Dread was the way that they shot that particular film. You could there was scenes in it where you were like, that is a comic scene.
Yeah,
like, that is something that only comics do.
It was intentional as well.
Yeah, so when Anderson is about to be killed, and there's a picture of her on her knees with her head down, and her knees are quite far apart from each other, and the guy's you have a shot from the guy's gun by his side, which is her gun to her, and this the way she was on the with her arms behind her is very comic based. It's not really a way you would naturally never sit like that,
and that's what makes Dread really good to watch as well, because a lot of filmmaking, they try to hide the fact that it's a film, and so they try to use realistic shots or realistic kind of sequences, whereas Dread is quite unapologetic. Just we made a movie about a comic. Here it is. And it was awesome.
Yeah, it was very good.
I mean, another good example of that would be Sin City.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it was like, this isn't a film. This is a comic book that you're just watching in a cinema. And so there is, and the media of comic books is great because it can give you a lot of punch thematically and in terms of genre in a single pane that you cannot really do with film. And so transposing comic to film can be done excellently. Dread, Sin City. I'm sure there's a few other examples out there if you want to give us a heads up.
Yeah, obviously we're not counting the first Dread. We're just going to gloss over that piece of poop.
Yeah, because they tried to make a movie about the comic book.
Oh, Batman.
Which one of the hundreds that exists out there?
Well, to me, the Batman series is always like one of the first two, essentially. Like they're the ones that.
Adam West.
No, not Adam West. No, the film, not the series. Oh my god.
All right. Well, I mean, you know, there's been a lot of Batmans, right?
Yeah, but the first two films are the ones that I guess it. Star Trek, like Star Wars, like Batman, whatever one you probably appeared on Earth at the time it was coming out is probably the one you're gonna like the best.
Okay.
I'm guessing.
I mean, there's you don't.
Michael Keaton.
That's who you're referring to.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that where Danny DeVito is the Penguin?
Oh yeah. So it's both Michael Keaton ones.
Oh, okay.
The Joker is
Heath Ledger and
the one before that.
Oh.
He's a very famous actor who was in.
Sure is. I mean, the point is, if you can't remember him, it's probably not relevant.
It is relevant.
Well, no.
Jack Nicholson.
Make better films, and the people will remember you.
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, nobody remembers Jack Nicholson for his role in the Joker.
Fuck off, do they not? Of course they do.
They remember one flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Oh, okay. Okay. But
Like,
he was a good Joker, though. He was a good Joker.
It was.
Best Joker, says Rick. I'm just going to pull out.
How do you ban someone?
I'm just going to pull out comments from the chat that go along with my points.
Right. Anyways, not sci-fi. Not sci-fi at all.
What's
Batman.
not? Batman.
Yeah.
But he uses technology.
Yeah, but the story is not about human beings using technology.
All the baddies all use types of technology.
Yeah. Oh my god! Every day we use types of technology. It doesn't mean we're living in a sci-fi.
New technology.
Regardless, Batman is about one man's caped crusade against evil. It's a classic good versus evil. It's not sci-fi. It's not sci-fi at all. Dread, comic, film, sci-fi. Right? Because it's about authoritarianism, and if we give technology that other people don't have to one particular group of individuals.
I'm just laughing at what something Abby's saying in the chat. She's like, "Fuck off, they do." That's funny. You are too young. Oh yeah, she's there you go. You are too young. But she is agreeing with you. Batman is not sci-fi.
Yeah.
The Shining. It's not sci-fi.
No, psychological thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah, not sci-fi at all.
So.
Have I just become the default judge, jury, and executioner?
No, you're the one talking. That's all.
Okay,
I mean, it's just now. It's not for life.
Yeah, Shining, interesting film. One of my favorite films, but no sci-fi. Agree. What else? We went to Dread.
Well,
doing some comics. I mean, like I was saying, comics are really good at being highly genre specific because people buy genre specific comics. People don't go to genre specific films, so films tend to need to dumb down their content to appeal to a wider audience.
Well, I think like things that have a lot of car chases, that's genre specific, right? And people like that. And
that's
like,
why we have 20 Fast and Furious films.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Those are genres like what do you call them? Romantic comedies that women are supposed to like.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of women they are. Why is Dread sci-fi?
Because Dredd the character, Judge Dredd, is what happens when technology and the authority or power that comes with the technology is granted to only a specific set of individuals. They're deemed worthy to control the technology, and through the film and through the comics we see the outcome of the generally negative outcome of when only one specific type of person or group of individuals have power or technology. Good enough?
Yeah. I guess because I haven't read Judge Dredd the comic.
Because there's hundreds of them.
There's hundreds of them.
Yeah.
But I imagine we do go through lots of character evolutions. Anderson is a good example from the film. And she obviously does not finish being a judge. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, because I mean, in the film at least, to be a judge, you need to be very unjust, which is kind of the point you're making. The point that the film is making, to be the judge, jury, and executioner. I mean, there's some ironic name his gun is called, isn't it?
Yes.
It's called something that clearly makes this point. He is the one wielding this, and to get up to this stage where you have the authority given by the city or whatever to wield this power, you have to be actually incredibly unjust. And there's no trial, there's no anything to any of the people. He just immediately judges, boom. Erroneous circumstances taken into consideration. It's just
he's put in charge of policing humanity, but he cannot be. But he has to remove all his own humanity.
Yeah, exactly.
To do it.
With RoboCop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. The best way to, in this dystopian nightmare future that these films are set in, it's to police the humans, we need to remove the humanity from policing. And in some regards, that's what our own judicial system is meant to be based off, blind justice.
Yeah.
But that takes it in the opposite direction. Instead of, giving, or maybe this is, a reason, or maybe this is a reason. The blind justice means all I saw is the crime, you're dead.
Yeah.
It's literally taking the opposite. Well, not the opposite. The other side of blind justice. I know. I'm sure someone can say this more eloquently in some film school dissertation, but
that's not us, baby. That's not
me.
us. That's not us. Andy. What about Blood Drive? I don't know this. Do you know?
Guys, pick stuff I know. Come on.
Don't bang the table, please. My mic's on it.
Oh, sorry. Blood Drive.
Bloody newbies. You can look up what the name of that gun is. It's annoying the crap out of me.
Oh yeah, there's nobody in the comments got it yet.
Nobody's put it in the comments. Blood Drive. He's a robot and he's a cop. Apparently, that's just RoboCop, right?
It's called The Lawgiver.
Oh, the law. Well done.
There you go.
Um,
You got it.
So Andy sent us a synopsis. It's the near future in Los Angeles, and the climate change keeps temperatures soaring, and water is as scarce as oil.
Crime is so rampant that authorities only bother punishing cases of extreme violence, and even the city's last remaining good cop isn't immune from the chaos.
Oh
Dun,
yeah.
dun, Yeah, I mean, so sci-fi. I reckon sci-fi. I mean, it's dystopian. I mean,
it's got environmental. We've already established that
and,
that's
and
something
I
that we
assume
have.
the environmental things are caused by humans. It's not just like random meteorite plunges into Earth. That's not sci-fi.
The near future LA has a water shortage. Isn't it on the sea?
You're talking about Arizona Bay.
Arizona Bay.
Yeah,
but
you know where fresh water comes from, right?
yeah, but
It's
you
not
can
the
make
sea.
fresh water.
Desalination
from
is incredibly expensive and also energy inefficient.
yeah, but if it's as
There's
scarce as
as scarce as oil. Oil creates electricity, which is required to do desalination.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't have energy, you can't desalinate water.
Okay. Even the cars aren't typical gas-powered machines. They run on human blood. What?
Oh, this sounds awesome.
What?
How have I not seen this film?
When Bailey goes missing to take part in the race, his partner Chris leads an investigation to figure out what happened to him, and it quickly turns into the most deranged case of Chris's career.
Is this a 1970s film by any chance, Andy?
That's good. Hunger Games is a dystopian, and there's technology, but is it sci-fi? Hunger Games, I haven't.
Oh, Blood Drive, 2017. Oh wait, no, that's an. Are we talking about a series here or a film?
It's a film, I think.
Because there's a series called Blood Drive that lasted very shortly in 2017 on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Well, it must be sci-fi if it's on the Sci-Fi.
Yeah, and everything on the History Channel is history. Aliens. Did they
Aliens.
build the pyramids? Watch this hour-long documentary to reveal the answer is nope.
They might have done. We weren't there. Did you see it?
Oh my god.
Did you see that tweet? Just go off topic a wee bit. That tweet by Elon Musk asking the Flat Earth Society why there's no Flat Mars Society.
Oh, and the response is, unlike Earth, Mars has been observed to be round.
What a douche. Andy has dropped. It's a series.
It is a series. Okay, right. I mean, I don't mean to burst your bubble, Andy, but it lasted from June the 14th to September the 6th of the same year.
That's a one season run, right?
There were 13 episodes.
13 episodes. Yeah, there you go. That's one season, though.
I mean, the concept sounds super rad. Probably watch the first one, and if it doesn't grip me, then I'll be out. But
I Could Be You says, in reality, you know this is good, we are looking at solar and wind power for hydrogen production and desalination.
yes, looking at. It's not there yet.
Yeah, but if your country was going into a water shortage, you'd be all down on that bad boy, surely, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, you
yeah,
go there.
I mean, so making water is easy, provided you have energy to make the water. So yes, was that Abby?
No, it was I Could Be You.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So making water super easy once you have enough energy, right? You can literally pull water out of the air if you have enough energy to do so. What our current societies lack, in which a lot of current conflicts.
We're not mentioning any current conflicts.
No, are based on all conflicts are based on resources, and a lot of sci-fi and stuff is based on resources. People go out looking for resources because Earth is dying, and yeah, if we could harness the sun in a way that is not detrimental to the environment, because creating solar cells is very toxic. Materials for it, and so we create huge environmental problems, mining aluminium to create wind turbines. So yeah, wind and solar are great options, and to actually look into them and say, yeah, it causes not as much, but almost the same amount of damage of oil and gas.
Well, I Could Be You says we have the technology as he's working on it now. Energy transition is happening, so he's probably in a better position than you, sir.
I sincerely hope that there are some people out there in a better position than me to be to be sorting out the world's problems. If it's all left to me, we're all doomed.
Oh, we're doomed. Andy's saying, yeah, he knows it's been on his watch list. Whatever film that was. What was it?
Blood Drive.
Blood Drive. Has been on his watch list this whole time. Yeah. Peter says, give me money to build mirrors in space to focus light into water, boiling it to spin turbines.
You what, son? Okay, so our atmosphere is a mirror that focuses light onto the planet. So that's done. Thanks. If you want to build a mirror in space to focus light, to where? Where is the water?
I feel this was covered in Mystery Man film with that Mike Myers. What do you call him? Shagadelic, baby.
Oh, Austin Powers.
Yeah, isn't that one of the plot lines for Dr. Evil? They
Oh,
just
yeah,
put
he
a
makes
massive mirror in.
Yeah, mass mirror.
Yeah.
It doesn't make water; it creates fire.
Noi Tommy asks The Martian. I haven't seen The Martian. I feel like that's going to be a desert island story, though, is it?
Every time Ben Affleck goes into space, we need to come and get him. At some point, we need to realize that you should just fucking leave him there.
How come Sean Bean has to die? Can't we just leave?
Oh, but he dies so valiantly. He dies.
but the only thing he
Cinematically, no. Hang on. Sean Bean is Jesus. He dies in every film to save us, the viewer, from a boring film.
Yeah,
Sean
but-
Bean is the Jesus of movies.
Oh, okay. Apart from in Sharp, he doesn't die in Sharp. Spoiler alert. But we're not talking about that. That's not sci-fi either. Let's go on. Peter is saying, a focus beam, totally not a death ray. Yeah.
Yes, and when the man proposing this wears an all-black suit with a white cat, we're all going to believe it.
Yeah. So we did bring up the one Andy's brought up now. The Boys.
So
One
this
of
is
our
this is
family favorites,
this
I
is a
think.
good one because I typically hate superhero films. I put the Avengers in the same category as Fast and the Furious. It's for retards, essentially. And if you like it, you're a retard. But superhero films in general do not interest me, and I don't think they're sci-fi in general. I mean, we discussed Batman briefly. Definitely not sci-fi. Superman, I wouldn't call that sci-fi.
But Boys is different because they use technology to make the superheroes.
It's an anti-sci-fi. Or no, not. It's an anti-superhero film.
Yeah, but it's actually science fiction.
Yes, because the heroes are genetically engineered, and I think it's generally set near future, because I mean genetic engineering already happens. You can have pregnancy screenings to determine if your child's going to be autistic or not, and then make the right decision. But
Don't go down that road, love. Don't. Abby's already pissed off at you. You're annoying her, mister. That's what
Good.
she's just putting, right? So
look, if I annoy one person and entertain 99 people, I've done my job.
if we ever got 99 people because of your comments, then fair enough. But we don't. So
No, but The Boys is a sci-fi. I think, because we're exploring the results of what if private companies use genetic engineering to create super soldiers in general, and what would the result be of that? Because that's what it's about,
yeah.
right? It's not just a thing set in the future. Yeah, I think Boys is something that flies under the radar is good sci-fi.
I think it's too new to really consider that. Because it's a brand new series. It is a comic. I don't know how long the comic. There you go. It's a comic originally.
Yeah, it was originally a comic.
And I did read an article about the fact that there was a number of the harsher sex scenes that were in the comic. That they took
there's
out
some hardcore rape and stuff that happened in the comic.
in the
there?
comic. Yeah. And they couldn't make it work out well. They couldn't make it in the comic. There was 4 characters involved in a really brutal scene, and they couldn't resolve it in the film, in the live action, so that everyone got their comeuppance. But it actually explains one of the characters that I thought was actually a good person and then ended up getting killed anyway. And I couldn't understand why they'd kill him off, because I thought they were going to bring him out as a hero.
Yeah,
but then
sides.
if you go to what he does in the comic book, then he gets his just desserts, actually. So yeah, there you go.
The boys.
But I can't. I'm not going to tell you what that is because I'm not
the
going to
comic's
spoil
2006,
boys.
by the way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so
Wowee.
it's a new comic as well. But that's what I was going to say. Comics are better medium for kind of more complex storytelling. The best stories are in books. Comics are really good at that, giving some graphic element to it. Films, you have to be a really good filmmaker to tell a story through film. It's not the easiest medium to tell a film because you have to use dialogue, you have to use camera shots, sets, angles, soundtrack, which is kind of leads me into 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I want us to stay
on the boys for a bit.
On the
comic thing, yeah.
Mostly because I think it's the reason anime exists is because it was easier to tell stories, harsh stories, and obviously not as illegal as doing it with humans.
Yeah, printing stuff and distributing it you get by the censors a lot.
No, but also
easier.
if it's a drawing on a page, it's not a humanization almost, but having someone act it out
I
is.
see what you mean. Yeah.
So you can get away with harsher.
You can be more graphic and.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, I know this sounds really weird, but we had the Turtles comic book when I was the graphic
Teenage
novels.
Mutant.
Well, they were ninja, but yeah, there's some, but the graphic novels are really dark.
Yeah.
Really dark.
Yeah, by nature they generally are.
So my mum and dad, well, they did let me watch a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have at the certain ages, but I think that those comics were like the parents are probably. I don't know whether they're realizing it or it's fine, but the comics the kids are reading are probably a lot more violent than than the films you would allow a child to watch, I guess. Not having children, I obviously know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, also because boomers don't expect that. Oh, it's a drawing on a piece of paper. It's not going to be that dark or graphic or have adult themes on it. Yeah, my kids can read that. Oh, watching a TV episode where they say the F word, that's a big no-no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because what they relate to is, media.
Rick is asking, who is the biggest sci-fi actor? Gary Oldman comes to my mind.
Oh, Fifth Element, man.
I know. That if we were still on the best things, then Fifth Element.
Once again.
You're gonna tell me Fifth Element's not a sci-fi? You can go fuck yourself, love. I remember watching. First of all, should we answer this question before we?
It's a Jesus story.
But so what? So what? The biggest actor in sci-fi. Who is the biggest sci-fi actor? Do you think?
I don't like the question.
Fine.
Because actors are generally not genre specific. I'd rather talk about better sci-fi directors or authors. Because actors, in my opinion, actors are props in a filmmaker's film. They're about as important and relevant as the background or any other prop in the film. The camera's on them a lot of the time, but I mean, once again, you could switch them in and out for almost anybody.
I think Rick's trying to support the Conan argument here by saying Arnie.
Arnie?
I feel like this is a setup. I suddenly feel like we're being set up here, Rick.
I like Arnie more as an actor than as a human being. But yeah, I like his stilted bad acting. But that's when bad is good.
But is he the biggest? He is the largest actor in sci-fi for sure.
That kid that played the alien in Alien. He was like some 17-year-old that was like 7 foot tall, and like they literally like kind of picked someone off the street. It's like, you're huge. Do you want to be in a movie? And they made the costume around him.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
I think he'd probably be the biggest actor in sci-fi.
He was the biggest actor in sci-fi. This conversation is definitely making me feel some feelings too.
Good. That's what sci-fi is meant to do. It's meant to make you feel and make you question reality and everything you know. And what is sci-fi? What is life? What am I doing with my time?
Yeah, but I think she was saying that our dynamic is working out for her.
Oh, okay,
I
good.
think she likes it. That's good. Abby is now saying yes too. Okay, so Umbrella Academy. I haven't seen it. I must admit, I haven't seen it. It's a series, right? It's on.
Academy.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
It's not about the Umbrella Corporation that is the basis for Resident Evil.
I thought that's the
Films,
first thing that went into my
comics,
mind, but
and
I don't.
video
I
games.
don't know.
We
Sorry,
haven't
haven't
spoken
seen
about video games actually.
it. Is the Umbrella Academy a comic? John Hurt.
Oh, John. Well, if John Hurt's in it, it's good. I don't know if it's sci-fi though.
Abby's agreeing with Gary Oldman.
Hmm.
And she is in capitals now. Fifth Element is sci-fi.
No, it's Jesus.
But you can have a sci-fi Jesus story. You're allowed to do that.
Okay, but so there's a bad thing that's going to happen to Earth.
Yeah, using technology, new technology.
No.
Alien
If
technology.
you can explain the plot without using any kind of technology, then it's not sci-fi, right? So bad things are going to happen. Savior comes out of nowhere, and then there is a cryptic puzzle to solve before the Savior can save the world. That's the Fifth Element, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't need to use any technology or science to describe the plot.
I think your baselines here are just.
I'm just way off the mark.
I think you're just not. You're too. It's
Okay.
too simplistic.
Okay. Let's. So let me go back to Blade Runner.
Yes.
Describe Blade Runner without using science or technology.
Yeah, just because, but that's black and white. There's black and white.
Yeah,
where
there's
we're
good
talking about,
good and bad.
There's loads of grey in the middle.
There's absolutely there's loads of grey, and that's why film is very difficult to tell a story because one, there's studio pressure to appeal to the lowest common denominator. So even a filmmaker who wanted to tell the most scientific fiction he could would literally be unable to. So there's that. And also it has to go somewhere. Like, it needs to be entertaining. However, there is a film that we haven't spoken about, Ex Machina.
Yes.
Pretty low budget.
You could explain that without using technology as well.
Okay, explain that.
Oh, I guess you can.
It's literally about a man falling in love with a robot who tricked him into falling in love with her so she could escape.
But you could use a very, very intelligent raven or its other animal. Tell me you couldn't.
Write that. I'll read it and then I might change my mind.
But you could, though. In fact, all AI, if you could use an intelligent animal and then argue whether it had sentience or not.
Okay, but I mean that comes back to a very central science fiction theme about what is consciousness, what is human, right? The robot literally tricks the dude into thinking she's human enough, right? It's the opposite of a Voight-Kampff test. It's the robot tricking the human, rather than the human trying to trick the robot. In fact, I'd actually draw a lot of parallels to Ex Machina and Blade Runner.
Yeah.
But, it's kind of the coin flipped. The same way that, Judge Dredd is the blind justice coin flipped. They make very compelling stories.
Yeah.
Something that we generally take for granted and then explore the other side of it. Makes difficult storytelling, technically, but makes for good stories.
Good stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm not going to argue that those aren't sci-fis. I'm just making sure you're not able to. Total Recall, Terminator, running. He's just listing things that have flippin' Arnie in them.
Yeah. So Terminator.
Conan, you're not going to win the Conan argument by putting more Arnie in this.
Total Recall. Excellent sci-fi. Once again, like, what is memory? Like, how do we know what think we've experienced actually happened? Because, relying on memory as evidence is obviously unreliable.
But then Terminator?
No, Terminator is crap.
Terminator, by your definition, cannot be a sci-fi.
No, it's not a sci-fi. It's just, two things come back in time and then fight each other. You could do that anywhere. I mean, that's more like a classic Japanese samurai duel kind of film.
Yeah. It's more,
traveling heroes and villains that cross paths, or, there's a lot of exposition that makes people think that things are sci-fi. We're like, oh yeah, back in, or, in the future, in this time, this happened, and then it's exposition, and then we jump straight into our story, So the exposition is irrelevant to what the story is. It just gives you a bit of background, but it doesn't change whether it's sci-fi or not. You know, the same way with Star Wars. I mean, that long scrolling nonsense at the beginning of it. I mean, surely you could have just like made a film about this. I mean, it even says in the beginning, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, this is not science fiction. Don't view it as such. Here we go. It's a good story. It's just not sci-fi.
Right. Well, we've been down that route.
I know.
We're just gonna.
I'm
we're gonna
really salty about
Star
Star
Wars. I
Wars.
know we gotta let it go. I have not. So I'm just gonna run through a couple of Ricks. But I'm just gonna go over Running Man, Sixth Day. But and go straight to Predator. Predator is not a sci-fi.
No, it's not. It's a monster movie.
It's a monster movie, based with an alien. Okay.
It doesn't even need to be an alien.
It's a monster movie. Eraser. I don't know what that is.
Eraser? Where are you reading that?
Freelop. ERAS.
Yeah,
ER. Razor. The series? Is it a series?
No, it's a film. If it's the thing I'm thinking of, an alien appears on Earth basically, and they're experiencing Earth life through the view of an outsider. Let me make sure we're talking about the same thing. Eraser is an advanced security tool for Windows. No, that's not the right thing. Action comedy, Chuck Russell, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, we are talking about the same thing. Yeah. Oh wait, no, we're not.
Oh,
I'm thinking of Eraserhead.
Yeah. This is going. How is time travel not sci-fi?
Well, it depends if time travel is just to set the scene for the story, or if time travel is the story.
Yeah, so Terminator. I think this goes back to Terminator because he's still on Arnie.
Terminator has time travel in it. Doesn't make it sci-fi because it's not relevant to the story. I mean, the time travel could be transposed to, wandering samurais coming across the deserts or dunes or something and crossing paths, or trying to escape each other on horses and then getting stuck somewhere. I mean, time travel as a concept is not specifically sci-fi. It depends how it's used as a storytelling device, if I need to be clear.
Yeah. Rachel's saying, it's your poor definition of sci-fi that's contentious. You seem to be discussing sci-fi as a genre that considers tech to be the only science.
Not at all.
We've done that. We went over ones that were science-based on the back of a comment that you made, and we agreed with your science. Yeah. So we agreed with your science. Yes, indeed.
I'm kind of more interested in how science fiction is, not discussed because that's what we're doing. Depicted across mediums. We've talked about film. We've talked about some comics. I think video games is really good at doing some sci-fi and really bad at doing other sci-fi.
What, like Space Invaders? As a bad.
Yeah. So I mean, with Space Invaders, it's just bloop 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 boop 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 boop.
Yeah.
Is that sci-fi?
It's spaceships.
So, the plot is dependent on the technology, your spaceship, and you level up your spaceship as time goes through. So it kind of fulfills that role, doesn't it?
Yes.
What are the other things that we brought up that define science fiction? So speculative. So what would happen? We have to fight the alien invasion. That's kind of science fiction-ish, right? I mean, so Robert Heinlein says that a handy short definition of almost all science fiction might read: realistic speculation about possible future events based solidly on adequate knowledge of the real world, past and present, and on a thorough understanding of the nature and significance of the scientific method.
So Pac-Man is sci-fi.
You've brought it up. Prove it.
Because it is a foretelling of humans' existence listening to electronic music in dark rooms while munching on pills.
Yes, 100%.
Pac-Man is a good sci-fi.
Pac-Man is sci-fi.
So I know that you wanted to. There is some talk about other stuff, but we'll go into the chat in a minute. You wanted to. So you wanted to bring up a good gaming sci-fi.
Yeah, so I think exploring humanity through the eyes or the perception of a robot or as essentially a non-human is a really good way to tell a story. And in my opinion, Nier Automata does that extremely well because you are to be an android created by humanity, sent back to Earth.
Travel?
No, not time traveling.
Oh.
Sent back to Earth because humanity evacuated Earth because there was a robot uprising, essentially. There were a few human stragglers left over, and you're sent back as an emissary of humanity to Earth to, try and scope things out. You're a recon person, essentially. And what you discover through the story, because video game is great at telling story because unlike a film, which only has your attention for an hour and a half, 2 hours, video game, any good video game has at least 100 hours of gameplay on it. That's 100 hours that you can really flesh out the details and draw a theme or a concept out.
Yeah, but you're also bringing that human into, the interactiveness of the game is going to lend to its story far better.
Yeah, absolutely. So you do different quests and whatnot. And role-playing games as a genre of video game is pretty good at doing that as well. If we compare that to a first-person shooter sci-fi like Halo, I'd hardly call that sci-fi. It's just a shoot 'em up. The technology isn't really relevant. It's just cool using space guns shooting aliens.
So it's a space western?
No, it's a space FPS.
What's an FPS?
First-person shooter.
Like Doom.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Peter's saying Metal Gear
Solid.
All about technology.
Yeah, I think Metal Gear Solid is actually a really good borderline or introduction to some interesting concepts and themes. And which is why, if it's good, it will stand the test of time. And that's why Metal Gear Solid, Knights of the Old Republic. Dude.
Yeah. So we're almost out of time, actually.
Oh, have we?
It's been quite good fun. It's good fun. I've had fun. We're going to do some 8-ball questions because that's what we do. Are you ready for some random questions?
Yep.
To see if you're a replicant.
Hit me up.
It's like, how would you know? Is free will real? Is free will real or just an illusion?
So you're asking me if I take sometimes. No, so I believe there is not absolute free will, but there is human will within certain constructs, and we have constructs of our own biology, and I can only have the will to do something that I'm able to do, and we have a will within the construct of our society, and I have the will to do something that would be acceptable by the rules of our society, and I have there are universal rules, in my opinion. Not everybody believes that I have a morality, and I would only choose to do something that would be in line with that morality. So yes, there is freedom of choice, but the choices are limited. So there is no absolute free will, but there is freedom of choice within certain constructs and confines.
Prove that you're not a replicant through that.
I can't. and that's why I like science fiction so much, because I cannot prove that I exist. I cannot prove that my morality is any more just than another's. I cannot prove that I am any more real than anything else that I perceive.
Yeah. And if we're not looking at it, does it even exist?
Does a tree fall in the woods? Does it even make a sound?
Yeah.
The first reaction would generally go towards nope.
It makes us.
But then, so then we need to have a conversation about what is perception. And so just what I can hear, see, smell, taste, or touch, is that the limits of my perception? No, because it's not, because I can perceive other things. Whether I know it or not, we do have reactions to things that are not immediately obvious to us, and that's, our subconscious. So until we fully understand our subconscious and our full breadth of perception, the tree may or may not make a sound when it falls. We're yet to find.
We don't know.
We don't know. Yeah, not yet. Maybe in the future.
This is an interesting one for you because I know you death scroll an awful lot. When caught in a death scroll, what kind of content makes you stop and pay attention? I know what kind. The thing is, I know the answer to this. I know what kind of content catches your attention.
Generally, things that make me smile and uncover the hypocrisy of man. So a lot of my death scrolling is political in nature, and everyone's all kind of doomy, gloomy. This person's bad. This person's bad. This person's bad.
But you
and
scroll
then
on Twitter a lot.
yeah, which is just a goddamn shitstorm of shitty opinions. But every now and then, someone says something, and it's like, and compares two things, and it's like, that's funny. And I think finding the humor in the chaos, or at least the humor in the negative, is necessary to keep doom scrolling.
Yeah. I actually find that there are certain certain platforms are fun to doom scroll on, and some just aren't. And obviously 9gag, you have put me on to the world of 9gag, which is fantastic.
That's not doom scrolling though, is it? That's just
no. It's like when you're just scrolling for the fact of scrolling. There's no rhyme or reason.
I don't do that. I scroll through the crap looking for the good bits. The little pots of golds and the turds.
That's what everyone's doing, right?
Oh, okay.
But I just find like if you do it on Facebook or Instagram, it becomes very, very pressured and stressed. Whereas if you do it on 9gag, you may well be there for a long time, but you're gonna get giggle. And
because nobody puts their opinion in front of you.
Yeah, and no one's selling themselves their best self. Oh, no one is. No one is selling their best self on 9gag. I mean, that's kind of the whole deal, right?
Yeah.
There's no glamour posts on 9gag.
No, not at all.
Well, they're probably there's cats. There is cats.
There's
There's
cats.
plenty of pets, but
I mean, it's the internet. There's always going to be cats.
Yeah, but that's it. Just makes you feel. It makes me feel better about myself, and not on anything else. I think. I
mean, Instagram is trash.
Well, Instagram is only the trash that you ask for. I mean, you literally have to tell it what trash you want to look at.
Well, then I'm trash, and I don't want to look at my own trash.
There's only so many cyclists. You can look at their butts.
No, it's just crap, because it's... I mean, a picture tells 1,000 words, but, 10 words tell a better story than a picture. Pictures are boring.
Okay.
I would rather read than look at a picture, to be honest.
Okay. So there you go. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna. I think let's draw a close on this evening. I think it has been mightily good fun.
Mightily good fun.
Yeah, it's been good. If you have enjoyed the show out there, go out and come and join us on Discord. We are going to be throwing up next week. I'm going to be adding space sci-fi meme review. We're going to put it in. I was going to put it in this week, but we just didn't get to it. We had some problems with our green screen, hence why there isn't one today. So yeah, come and join us on our Discord, and we will be back next week. We have, I know what I was going to tell you. We have Quang. Quang is going to be joining us. Quang and the Hype Bear. Oh, thank you for the bits, Peter. Thank you for the bits. Quang and the Hype Bear are going to join us next week. They normally do their own stream on a Wednesday night, but they're going to come over to us, which will be good fun. So if you guys are actually into a lot of sci-fi, Quang DX, I don't know if I can't find him, I can't link him right now, but I'll put it in the Discord. He does a movie night on a Thursday night where at at 6 o'clock, he plays a film on Discord. It's quite often sci-fi based. And then at 9 o'clock, him and Hype Bear talk through the entire film from start to finish.
Oh my god.
And you would think that would be bad, but actually, if you haven't seen the film, the way Colin tells a story
Oh,
is
it's Colin.
Yeah, it's Colin.
Okay, yeah. No, he's fun to listen to.
Yeah. When
Check it
Colin,
out.
when the Hype Bear tells a story, it is actually really good fun, really good. So it's over on his channels, and I will link it in the Discord. So come over and join our Discord for sure. And we're gonna raid someone.
Sweet.
someone.
Where are we
So
going?
you need to go onto my dashboard. Oh no, you can't
I'm
do
logged
it.
in as me,
No,
not
that's
as you.
alright. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
Because this is how we make friends on Twitch. I have discovered, because we now have some contacts over at Bloodstock Festival because we raided them the other week. Amazing. So we're just going to raid. You don't have to stay there if you don't want to. It's up to you. Life is, you currently have some sort of free will. It's not going to last forever, but you've got it right now.
We have free will in various constraints.
Various constraints.
You get to choose whether you come and have fun or you go and be a loser.
Yeah. Okay,
Choose correctly.
Choose correctly. We're actually going to go and raid Quang DX, the person who is going to be our guest next week, and it's the channel that does the movie reviews. So if you want to, you just go over and follow him when we've done this. Oh yeah, look at that. Mother has come on. Enjoyed that. Agree with Riamu on what sci-fi is. We never limit our reading because we are pleased you read anything. We were pleased. What? We never limited my reading because we were so pleased that you read anything.
Yeah. Any way that you can expand your mind would be a good thing for your human development.
Yeah, that would be a good thing. So thank you, Mum. Thank you, Mum. Yeah. Okay, everybody, we're gonna go and raid Quang again. I very much, I'm telling you to, if you like sci-fi and you want to talk about sci-fi films, follow Quang when we get over there, and then every Thursday night him and Colin talk through a film, and it's actually a lot of fun, and you can watch the film on Discord first and all that. So I'm just going to raid, so we'll see you guys all next week. Yes indeed, see you all. Okay. Yeah. All right, my friends, we're all gonna go 4, 3, 2, 1, and away we go.